This morning, the president celebrating a victory over federal judges who have blocked key portions of his agenda this year.
This was a big decision.
The Supreme Court, in a 6-3 ruling, significantly limiting the power of individual lower court judges to issue decisions that pause policies nationwide from taking effect, including a nationwide injunction halting his executive order banning birthright citizenship.
I think taking power away from these absolutely crazy radical left judges.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett, writing for the conservative majority, saying lower court judges had gone too far with their nationwide orders.
Hey guys, Adam is here. This is an emergency legal broadcast. The scaffolding of power around Donald Trump is not just cracking, it is being dismantled, bolt, by the very institution he believed he owned. We have never seen a rebellion like this in American history.
All right, Pamela, here's what we know. This is a big win for President Trump because he has been railing against the so-called nationwide injunctions. This is the power of a single judge to block an executive order for the entire country. And this case came up as a result of multiple challenges to his effort to limit birthright citizenship through an executive order. Now, here it appears that the justices are agreeing with Trump and limiting this power that judges have to block a policy for the entire country. Now, on another issue, it does not appear that they have weighed in on whether Trump's effort to limit birthright citizenship is or is not constitutional. Instead, they are limiting the power of these judges to block policies for the entire country, which will likely allow Trump to proceed with this effort to limit birthright citizenship, while the larger constitutional questions about whether he can do that are being litigated.
As of right now, 36 federal judges, a tidal wave of black-robed verdicts, have ruled against the former president. They've examined his emergency decrees, his tariff wars, his funding freezes, and delivered a unified, devastating judgment.
US President Donald Trump has welcomed a Supreme Court decision limiting the powers of federal court judges to stop his orders.
But while the ruling was in relation to a ban on the president's order on so-called birthright citizenship, the court didn't decide on the legality of that executive order.
You broke the law. You are not above it. But this is the seismic twist that changes everything. Among those 36 are judges he appointed, judges he handpicked, judges he celebrated as his legacy. They are now the ones standing in his path, gavels in hand, declaring his most cherished power grabs illegal. His own judicial army has turned against him. This isn't about political losses. This is about the construction of an ironclad legal road to prison. Every single one of these rulings is a certified official court finding that Trump committed unlawful acts. They are not opinions. They are factual bricks in the wall of a future cell. And right now, those bricks are being mortared into place at a staggering speed. Because while the courts perform this systematic legal dismantling, the United States Congress is moving in perfect, chilling synchronization. Formal articles of impeachment are being drafted that cite these exact court rulings as the bedrock evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors. The language is no longer partisan, it's constitutional. They are using the words tyranny and usurpation on the official record. Meanwhile, a groundswell of millions, organized by groups like Impeach Trump Again, is demanding that if he will not obey the law, removal is the only remedy left. 3 tracks, 1 destination. The judiciary, the legislature, and the people are converging on a single, inescapable conclusion. Donald Trump is a criminal defendant waiting to happen, and the pre-trial motions are being filed in real time on national television. And Trump? He is performing the final damning act of his own downfall. Every time he attacks a judge by name, calling them corrupt, a disgrace, part of a deep state conspiracy, he is signing a confession. He is proving the central argument of the impeachment case, that he has zero respect for the rule of law, that he believes himself a king. He is building the prosecutor's closing argument with every unhinged post. So let's pull no punches. The headline is real. The 36 judges are real. Their yes is a vote against his immunity. And the prison alert is not metaphorical. It is the logical, legal endpoint of a man being cornered by the Constitution he tried to shred. This is the breakdown of how an American presidency is being legally terminated. First, understand the scale of the judicial mutiny. This isn't one activist judge in a liberal district. This is a systemic repudiation across the spectrum of federal law. The epicenter is the tariff cases. In May 2025, the U.S. Court of International Trade didn't just rule against Trump, it eviscerated his flagship economic weapon. The court examined his use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to declare economic war and said unequivocally, no. This was not a power the law granted any president. The ruling was a legal kill shot. Trump's team, arrogant in defiance, appealed. They demanded an en banc hearing before the full U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit, a rare all-hands judicial summit reserved for cases of extreme consequence. They got their hearing, and they got their heads handed to them. A majority of the full appeals court, including Republican appointees, affirmed the lower court. Illegal. When you tally the judges on the original panel and the appeals court who collectively blessed this ruling, you're already into double digits. All saying the same thing. You committed a crime. But the tariff tsunami was just the beginning. The rulings have poured in like a torrent. Immigration. Judges have blocked his draconian crackdowns, ordering the restoration of programs he tried to incinerate by fiat. Funding freezes. Multiple district judges have issued injunctions forcing him to release congressionally approved disaster aid, military funding, and social program money he was withholding as a political weapon. The verdict? The power of the purse belongs to Congress, not a petulant president. Abuse of power. Across a spectrum of lawsuits tracked by analysts at places like the New York Times, the pattern is monotonous and damning. Case after case, ruling after ruling. The count of federal judges who have formally declared Trump's actions illegal now sits between 30 and 40, and climbs. Here is the dagger. Many of these judges bear the stamp, appointed by Donald J. Trump. His own creations are judging him guilty. This strips away any facade of a liberal witch hunt. This is the law, pure and simple, rejecting a would-be autocrat. Even the Supreme Court, a 6-3 conservative fortress, has, in critical separation of powers moments, drawn bright lines Trump cannot cross. When that court tells you to back down, you have ventured into territory not seen in this republic's history. This judicial avalanche has created something far more dangerous for Trump than bad headlines. It has created a certified legal record. Each ruling is the official, documentable finding of fact. The president violated Statute X. The president exceeded his authority under Article Y. These aren't tweets or cable news rants. They are the foundational documents for what comes next, and what comes next is already in motion. Look at H. Resner 353, the impeachment resolution currently filed in the House of Representatives. Its articles are a direct transcript of the court losses. Usurping Congress's power of the purse. C. Judge X's ruling on withheld disaster aid. Abusing emergency trade powers. C. The en banc tariff ruling. Engaging in international aggression. C. Related national security injunctions, violating the First Amendment. C. Multiple rulings on retaliation against critics. Tyranny. This is the word, the constitutional term, now formally attached to his conduct in a congressional document. The impeachment push is no longer running on speculation. It is running on certified judicial convictions. The courts have done the investigatory work. Congress is now serving as the grand jury, and the evidence is overwhelming. Fueling this is a mobilized citizenry. Groups like Impeach Trump Again have a now irrefutable argument. 36 judges have said he broke the law. He continues to break it. The Constitution gives you one tool. Use it. Their logic is unimpeachable. What do you do with a president who treats federal court orders as suggestions? And how does the defendant react? Like a classic narcissistic criminal. He attacks the witnesses, the judges. He doesn't just criticize rulings. He names names. He questions their integrity, their intelligence, their patriotism. He calls them Obama judges or Trump-hating activists. In doing so, he commits the ultimate unforced error. Error 1. He proves the impeachment case in real time. The charge is despotic disregard for the rule of law. His response? A despotic disregard for the rule of law. He is a living, breathing exhibit for the prosecution. Error 2. He unites and galvanizes the very institution he needs to intimidate. A coalition of civil rights organizations has issued a stark letter for judicial independence, urging the legal community to defend the courts against his assaults. He is turning the judiciary into a sympathetic, resilient fortress. He is making heroes out of the judges who stand up to him. This is the convergence, the judicial track creating the factual record of crimes, the congressional track drafting the indictment based on that record, and the public accountability track creating the political will to act. Let's connect the dots to the headline's stark warning, prison alert. Every one of these federal rulings is a potential count in a future criminal indictment. Obstruction of justice, fraud, abuse of power. The statutes are there. Once the shield of office is removed, whether by an election, impeachment, or the simple passage of time, these judicial findings become a prosecutor's treasure map. They establish mens rea, criminal intent, and actus reus, the guilty act, in a formal, uncontestable way. The 36 judges haven't just voted yes against his policies. They have, in effect, voted yes on the factual predicate for his future imprisonment. They are pre-confirming the evidence for a Department of Justice that will one day no longer be under his thumb. Why is a step down imminent more than just hype? Because the pressure matrix is now complete. The legal path is clear. The political path is organizing. The financial and business pressure from his lost court battles is crippling his agenda and his allies. There is no room to govern. Every action is enjoined. Every order is litigated. He is a president in a legal straitjacket. Facing this, the historic exits for a cornered leader are resignation, impeachment removal, or electoral defeat. With all three now on the table and accelerating, the step down becomes a calculation of survival, to cut a deal, to avoid a worse fate, to try to control the narrative of his own end. This is the sound of checks and balances working, not with a whisper but with the roaring thunder of 36 gavels. Trump spent a lifetime evading consequences. He spent a presidency attacking institutions. He spent a post-presidency plotting a return. But he underestimated the slow, grinding, and immovable force of the American legal system. It does not operate on truth social time. It operates on precedent time. And right now, it is producing a precedent with his name on it. United States versus Donald J. Trump. The judges have spoken. Their words are in the record. Their verdict is clear. The walls are not just closing in. They have been built, and they have a door that locks from the outside. All that's left is the final act. Stay tuned. The verdict on his freedom is being written.